So I could not believe her reaction to what I said. Like, it was the last thing I expected. Like, this guy sucks and stuff like that. But that is beautiful. They kind of just glazed over this. That craftsmanship right there is, that's so true. That is such a good solution. Kind of make you sick. What? Welcome back to the channel over here, guys. It is time for another Craftsman Reacts video, and this time I'm going to be reacting to the second and third floor of the Madison house. So this is Jean Stouffer's personal house. She is a very prominent designer, as I have learned in the last week, and we'll get into it. This is her personal house. Last week I reacted to the first floor, had some critiques, and my video made its way to her via her son-in-law. And he reached out to me, and it's a small world, so we're gonna get into it. And so I was actually a little bit nervous because when I'm making these Craftsman Reacts videos, I'm not really like thinking like the person who I'm reacting to is gonna react to me and watch it. So it was a little bit surreal for me too, as he told me it was for him. But I do wanna be acknowledging that people are gonna be watching this, and I want to be educational without being offensive, and I think I was in the last video, and I think she thinks I was too. But before we do that, I want to let you guys know about Squared Apparel. If you order now, you could get your stuff still before Christmas, and I've been seeing a lot of orders coming in from names that I believe are female names. So I know you're out there, you ladies are getting your husbands or boyfriends some stuff. So if you still want to do that, there's time. I'm wearing the Behold the Entablature tee, left chest. We have just our standard square. On the back, we have a beautiful classical entablature. These are all super high quality. They're not cheap. They're like the best shirts I could find, guys. And the prints are extremely durable. This one has been doing really well, as I said. And then we also have this one here. This is one of my favorites, and it's been really a crowd favorite. This one has performed really well, almost as good as the Milwaukee. This is the Doric Order tee. We've got this Doric Order in this kind of distressed plan elevation, and then a square right there at the bottom. And then the front left chest of this one is a circled square, and it's got that distressed look to it. But again, all high quality prints. And I'm gonna be running a little special for Christmas here, and that is gonna be if you buy one of our Analema trucker caps. Here's the one in multicam in black. I've also got these in navy. They're trucker caps with the mesh back, and they've got the square patch with the Analema laser engraved onto it. If you guys don't know what an Analema is, look it up. I'll post a little video right here showing you, but it's basically the pattern of the sun. If you were to take a picture of the sun every day and then time lapse those pictures, it would make this image right here. And on the hat, it actually lays out how you would do that and why that works. So the brand's all about scale, proportion, geometry, order. I just thought it was very fitting. So if you pick one of these hats up, I am gonna do you a solid, and I'm gonna throw in one of these. This right here is an aluminum carpenter's pencil. It has a little nib at the tip that you can replace, but this is solid aluminum, and it's what we call an everlasting pencil. We actually just came up with this idea, and I'm super excited to release these. But if you buy the cap, you're gonna get one of these for free. I'm gonna package it up personally and throw it in there. So want an aluminum carpenter pencil? They're actually pretty sick, so check it out. So like I said, the son-in-law reached out to me on YouTube and then later through Instagram, and we kind of chatted a little bit, and then I realized the video made it to her, and she had seen the video herself, and I was like, man, I hope that's not too awkward. And I remember thinking, like, I need to at least act in good faith, and if she doesn't like the video, I want her to have like the authority to take it down, because it is about her. So I made a little video, just pulled out my phone, sent it to her on Instagram, and basically my video said like, hey, it's me, it's Richard, you don't know me, but I'm the guy that reacted to your video, and I just want to put this in your court and say, like, if you don't like the video, if you want me to take it down, I will happily do so, and that'll be the end of that. I hope I didn't offend you. I hope I don't harm you at all, and you let me know what to do. So I could not believe her reaction to what I said. Like, it was the last thing I expected. She wrote to me, I think that day or the next day on YouTube, and said, this was so much fun. You know, I'm doing the upstairs and the third floor later this week, and you know, like basically kind of, I feel like inviting me to react to that as well. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. But I just couldn't believe, like, she was such a good sport about it. Like, that was not what I expected. I feel like that is a level of character that we all need to strive for. Like, hey, you know, I put my stuff out in public. You know, you guys critique it. Some of you critique it really hard, you know, like this guy sucks and stuff like that. But I'm fair game, you know, make a video about me. It's all good. I hope I have the same reaction as her, and I think I will. But anyways, let's jump into it. The second and third floor of the Madison house.
Just being able to see from the front door, out the windows to the back. This was the first time we ever did the brass strip.
Yeah, that brass strip. I didn't talk about that in the last video, but that brass strip was actually
porch and the matching one on the other side.
I think it's to hide the seam of the marble, but to use it as an accent piece, I think it's
we should do the whole house.
Really awesome. I've never seen that until this.
I do think going for it and completely changing.
Yeah, so pause right here. I talked about this in the last video, and I'll kind of reiterate, but you see that ellipse arch behind them, how it goes into the wall. It interrupts the panel there. And typically what I would do, I would probably build that arch out on the right side so that it shows that it's supported there. I don't know, you know, all the architectural elements that they're dealing with there or how wide that opening actually is. But say that's like a 36-inch opening. I maybe build that in a little bit just to show, and it doesn't have to be much because the thing is not cased out. It could be like 2 inches or something, just so it shows like a little bump out so that arch looks like it has support on both sides. When it kind of fades into the wall like that, it does look a little bit off to me. And then the moldings on the right there, they are interrupted by that arch as well. And I think if you had that extra right leg there, you could have defined the two hallways as separate spaces and then re-laid out your panels so you don't have that little jog out where it gets interrupted by the arch. So, but it's beautiful molding. And I want to say, whoever painted her stuff, I mean, look at the reflection. Look at the soft, like satin reflection of all that. And I've noticed this in the last video and I didn't say it, but that is beautiful. Like that painting, you don't see any brush strokes. You know, some people like the brush strokes, and I've kind of grown to like them if they're done right. But I've always been kind of a spray guy. I used to do all my own spraying as well, and I've always been going for that kind of factory finish. But whoever did it here, man, really nailed it. And again, the stair company, they redid this whole stairway. They absolutely like nailed it on this. So let's keep going.
Biggest improvement, all the way from the basement and goes all the way up to the third floor, using this exact, you know, same railing and baluster style, and just it feels very cohesive. That reminds me of my time at Winterthur when the stairs just kept going. Cool about these houses, they figured out ways to make people comfortable, even without air conditioning, and the transit windows.
What is this room? We haven't defined this room.
This is my bedroom. This is the primary bed.
Yeah, so they kind of just glazed over this because then Grace said, "What is this room?" But what she was, I think where she was going with the transom windows is like the way your air would flow, like in different seasons of the year, you would have like double sash windows. So a sash is basically the window itself, the part that moves. Usually there's like single hung where just the bottom sash moves, and then there's double hung where both sashes move independently of one another. And from what I understand, you would open up the bottom sash and pull that down so that hot air could go out, and then the cold air comes in through the lower sash. And the transom windows, those used to operate in the same way. They used to keep air flowing. And I think that's where she was going with that. But I agree. I think the older houses, for definitely, in my humble, unbiased opinion, slightly biased, were definitely better.
And it's absolutely beautiful. It's in a perfect position in the house.
I just want to pause right there and take this image in. That mantle, it's actually crazy because I never seen, it looks like a giant door casing. Like I've never seen that before with the giant base. So I told you guys I was a mantle enthusiast. I've never seen one like this, and it's not bad. It's like a giant casing. It almost, the closest thing I can think of that I've seen is like what's called a billection molding, where it's like just giant door casing, but not this big. This one looks like, obviously it was pieced out of multiple pieces, and I don't know if that's original. I would have to guess not, but maybe she can enlighten us on that. And then at the top, you've got this, it's almost like they created this entablature. You got a little tinea molding there with the blank frieze, and then just like a cyma at the top, just like an interpretation of an entablature, or like the frieze area of it. But it's not, it looks good. I like the molding going around the room. The base is nice and thick, and you can see those windows there. The window, and that kind of reminds me of what I was talking about. That bottom window looks like it's open because it's a 9/1. So there's 9 pieces of glass over the one big sheet of glass on the bottom sash. And it looks good. I like the way that looks. I'm a big fan of, though, if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna do that kind of, that false, frieze up there, I like to do the picture molding. So if you wanted to, you can hang pictures. I love picture molding, and I'll probably put it in my house here one day, but let's keep going.
Amazing light. The millwork is gorgeous. The size is very generous. Fireplace number 4.
Yeah.
It's this elegance,
it's a big room.
that and thoughtfulness of architecture and design from that era that I just was so inspired by.
I love the modern light fixture mixed in with all the...
I think that's what you always bring to the equation,
inspiring.
is knowing exactly the right thing to put in to make it
Okay, here's something
feel...
really cool. Here, this is a detail I think they really nailed it. As they're standing here in the entry of the primary bedroom, you've got this giant header. It's like a 14-inch header or something. And it caps with this little molding. The one I was referring to earlier is kind of like, it's what's called the tinea, and to use like a proper term, but it's that molding wrapping around the header. That molding wrapping around the header is the same molding running around the room. And that's what we call regulating line. And I think they did perfect there. And you'll see this on wainscots too, like where a wainscot is the window sill, or stool rather. So the wainscot top of that chair rail will bump out and go around windows, and it's like, it's giving a grounding feature. This is doing the same thing. It's a regulating line to keep it continuous. Because think about it, if that header was any higher or lower, you would have this weird transition where one molding would run into it at the bottom or run across it at the top, and it wouldn't look good. So they definitely got that right. So I just want to point that out.
Today. Now, into the bathroom. Well, actually, we have this little coffee kitchen. This used to be the master bathroom, right here. Sink, toilet, tub. But now it's the coffee kitchen.
Oh, I paused right there on this little coffee thing. The apron on that window stool is like a crown. See the projection on that thing? That is, I've never seen that before. And that's why I love doing these videos, because I'm like, wait, that's like a cabinet crown molding that they're using as an apron. And I think it works. It gives it this kind of lifting support, and it holds up the window stool there. And I've never seen that. So that's really, really interesting, and not a bad idea. I might try that out one day. And I'll probably screenshot this, because that's the thing. Like when you see something like that you've never seen before, it's kind of like you don't want to forget it. So I screenshot a bunch of stuff. I take photos, all that good stuff, because these ideas are valuable, as a finished carpenter, or even if you're an architect or a project manager, you want to be able to say, hey, I've seen this before. What do you think of this? And show your clients or your customers, or even the stuff you do for yourself, because, there's limitless things you could do with moldings. And I think if they're done right, and I think that one is, look at the way the kind of main body of the apron there, kind of the 1x section at the very bottom, it lines up with the casing. That is also done right. So yeah, that's really cool.
See.
The
Then
OG doorstop.
Opened
that looks
this
good.
up and took over this corner bedroom. So for our closets and a pretty
cabinetry in there is nice. Those vanities are really nice.
I just love this faucet suite from Kohler, the Pinstripe Pure.
Yep.
In polished nickel. It's our favorite finish.
So pretty.
Yeah. This is a beautiful stone from Ann Sachs, designed by Kelly Whistler. I think it was your idea to put tile on this whole wall.
Oh, that's a good idea.
There's something about it that just
my
I
wife
feel like
actually
is
says
so
that too.
Pleasing and interesting.
It's like, oh, I had a good idea.
Of our cupboards.
Yeah, the Chapman cupboard.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Paula's right there. So she is very prolific in the design world, as I learned this past week. She makes all these cabinet units, and you can buy them, and they're beautifully handcrafted. So her team of craftsmen actually built this, and that's awesome, to have a line of furniture like that you can put out there to the world. So let's look at it.
I don't really have it full now, but it's for linens or could be a pantry. But
inset, beautiful.
Really cute. That's really cute there.
Should we go to another
Simple,
suite?
but I like it.
Yes, one of a few.
Yeah, and you'll notice as we walk through
the
these.
Suite, we should
I don't have a lot of
in my
opinions on
office.
bathrooms and stuff, because there's usually mostly tile in there.
Dahlia wallpaper and green and.
Oh, that's a cool little mirror
that was
there.
Our kitchen
the little
table
swag
for
detail.
A while. It's kind of fun memories. This turned into really kind of like a cool. It could be
I like her
little
desk
family
too.
room
It's like
space
this
at the top of the
distressed
stairs,
wood.
but I've used it as my office and.
Yeah, it's
Blow up
the
mattresses
perfect
come in
office.
here sometimes.
Yes,
when all the grandkids come over.
It's a great office. I love it.
And that's her book right there.
And I like
she
its
wrote
location.
a book on home design. Oh, again, okay, so these carpenters got it right. We've got another regulating line there, bumps out around the header and looks really good. And you'll notice it doesn't on the one there to the right. And I think that's also good. I think if that header would have gone up to the ceiling, may have looked a little top heavy on that header. Those headers are already pushing it kind of as far as the height of them. But they work. I don't think they're that crazy. But if it went all the way up to the ceiling, I think we would have been not liking that. But I think they did a good job there. Again, a nice thick base, beautiful hardwood floor. Just a really kind of charming room there. Again, love the windows.
That's good.
I'm gonna pause right there and okay, so I do have a critique right here. As that header goes up right there in the top left, you'll see that that molding that's under the kind of main crown drops off at the header and just kind of buries behind it. I would have liked to have seen that continue across the header. I'm not a big fan of the way it terminates into the side of that header. That would have been better. I gotta say that would have been better. And in this case, because that door has the transom window, it has a tall header up to the ceiling, so that makes sense. The door behind them on the right side, I do think is proportioned better with the header and just the composure of that door versus the one with the transom. I would have liked to have seen that transom also. I would have liked to have seen it white. I know why they did it, the darker color, because it matches the door, but I do consider it as part of the molding, and I would have liked to have seen that not be the same color as the door and accent that way. But there's multiple ways you could have gone with it, and yeah, and this giant shoe molding. I'm not a huge fan of shoe molding. I used to actually like it, and it's okay kind of if it's just a true shoe, the 1/2 by 3/4. I do not like 3/4 by 3/4 true quarter round. If it's a true 1/2 by 3/4 shoe, because quarter round is not shoe molding, there is a difference. I'm okay with it a little bit, but I do like just the base to go to the floor. So that big shoe molding is also a little clunky in my opinion.
Well, it's a matching size to the primary.
Yeah, these rooms are huge.
And has the 50
if this was
fireplace.
oh, again,
Yep.
another, I was right there on this fireplace.
interesting
It's the same as the other fireplace. It's like a giant door casing. It's like a giant architrave. And it's pretty interesting. I've never, like I said on that last one, I've never seen that before. So they took that same mantle design and then copied it in this room. These rooms, she's right, these rooms are huge. Now I am wondering why there's tile in the firebox. I do feel like that would stain. I could be wrong. I do feel like that would get black pretty quick. Usually it's like a brick, right? Like a stone or something. And tile is usually the decorative thing.
The house was originally made with each of the bedrooms being in the four corners of the house. Yeah. And so they each have two exposures.
Pause right there. There's little panels on the side of the mantle too that I did not see on the last one. They may have been there, I just didn't see them. It's like this double panel. I do think that's pretty cool.
It's a very well-used guest room. Yeah, there are people probably in here, I would say, I don't know, we might have people in here up to 100 nights a year.
Wow, that's like a hotel.
Well used. And this used to be a tiny little closet, like with hooks. And then you had to go outside to get into this bathroom. But it made sense to make it connected. I was thinking of it, you know, as like the kids' bathroom.
Yeah.
But it turns out to be the main guest bathroom. But open to the hall. So
yeah, those sinks right there. So we're actually at the ranch project we're doing for Brent. They're having, I think, a couple of those sinks. Those things are making a huge comeback. Those kind of free-floating, old-fashioned retro sinks. And we're doing like towel racks underneath them. We just did one yesterday. In white oak, I dominoed that thing together.
Or the Brockway, I guess. Yeah,
is
the real name for it from Kohler.
I really like those.
And remember when we found this floor mirror?
Yeah.
That we had mounted
sideways.
That's a really good idea.
Over the Brockway.
It's fun to think about things in new ways. You know, like a floor mirror done sideways on the wall.
Yep.
For example.
That tile floor.
The tile that we had for this didn't come in a pattern.
That craftsmanship right there is on point. Like the way that looks. I mean, I can imagine, like tile work I highly respect. Like I think tile guys and girls don't get enough respect in the trades because people just assume it's easy. I think it's very difficult, especially an install like that, to execute that. She said it did not come in a pattern. So the tile workers had to literally, like these little penny tiles and like the counting, come on, the counting of tiles to get to the next one to get them equal. Dude, like that is tedious. Like I would only do something like that, like cost plus, because there's no way I'm going to be able to like, no, all right, this is going to take me 2 days. It's like, no, let's do this one time and materials if we can, please, because this is going to take some time. Even the border, how it has that little bump out of the dark tiles going into the light, that took a lot of time.
You did a beautiful job.
That is craft
These
right there.
old homes are not plumbed. I mean, the ceilings kind of, the floors kind of slope a little. And
so true.
We wanted to do this tile everywhere, but we kind of figured out, oh my gosh, we can't, because if we go all the way up,
we'll have like half a tile here.
And a whole tile by the time you get to the other end.
I'll let her finish.
So we stopped short of the ceiling, painted the wall the ceiling color, and all of that kind of goes away.
Yep.
That's so true. That is such a good solution. So if you guys didn't catch that, what she's saying, and I can attest to this working in these older houses, if you get a ceiling, like we had to fur a ceiling down with strips that was like 4 inches out one time. Like it was 4 inches higher on the right than it was on the left. That's how sloped it was. And we cut these long strips with track saws. And like what she's saying is basically she had that same ceiling, and instead of, you know, going up to the ceiling and having like a sliver of a tile on the left side and then a full tile on the right side, because that draws your eye to like, whoa, this ceiling's off. She just stopped prematurely before hitting the ceiling with a laser or whatever, however the tile guy did it, and then just painted the wall down. And like, dude, that is such a good solution for that issue, because your eye will never pick that up. Like, I mean, if you're really looking for it, you probably, if it's out that much, but it won't be like screaming at you. That's one of the things. Like if you do something and something's just like screaming for attention, then it's wrong. But if it's subtle, you know, oh, it's a little off, but I mean, I like the solution there. That was perfect. Like, I could not have thought of a better way to do that. She killed it on that. So yeah, I mean, that's another thing. You walk through these houses with me digitally and we can kind of talk through and learn stuff about it. And clearly that was a great solution there.
This is one of my favorite rooms. The Kelly Ventura wallpaper.
My wife really likes that floral wallpaper.
Bed. It is
all that flowery stuff.
A pretty room.
I personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. I get it. It's really more of a feminine thing, but
looks out over the garden.
I like more simple wallpapers.
Cozy. Yeah.
And I love this bathroom too.
With this gorgeous green tile from Bedrosians. And
the tile crew just did so good on this house, like the painters. That matters too, guys. Like, you can have the best designs and the best like architect even, and if you don't have the crew to execute it, I mean, you're out of luck.
Original porthole window, which is so
right. Well, and you know, that's the kind of interesting thing about working with a home in a historic district that has all these kinds of rules where you can't change
anything exterior.
Exterior
without going before a board and getting it reviewed.
Which I will pause it right there on that. I'm glad that there are historic boards, because some of these neighborhoods, like my neighborhood, I mentioned this in the last video, like it's historic for our area. It's 20s and 30s cottages, but there's sometimes I wish there was boards, because I was driving through my neighborhood and I saw this big obnoxious sign. Hopefully my neighbors don't watch this video, but it said like Window World on it. I don't think nobody around here knows me, but it said like Window World on it. And then I look at the house I'm driving by and they replaced all the original windows with these big, thick vinyl windows. And I was like, no. And it was like a Tudor house. So I would appreciate a board here, so it just doesn't all turn into like modern farmhouse and that kind of thing. But
yes.
I like the historic boards.
But now, yeah, this room is.
I mean, again, I got a shot. Look at the paintwork on that beadboard. Like, look at all those elements and that details. We got this sink, like this beautiful sink, the chrome hardware, which I'm a fan of, the window, like I mentioned, the 9/1, the thick cut beadboard. I mean, it's just, that image right there is just joy. And then it looks out to her yard.
My favorite visually in the house. And then there's some really cool things about it too.
Yeah.
Like, this little window goes into my closet,
which is very convenient.
That's
very
cool.
convenient. And then the drying rack, is so useful with the pulley, you know, bring it up. And then I love the
that is cool.
stand sink here.
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
And you know, with the windowsill being the height it is, we couldn't take cabinetry all the way to the wall, so
it's perfect.
It is.
You know, a lot of
nice.
times laundry rooms are on the first floor, like in the mudroom area, and that's really not where most laundry is made.
It's so true, with all the towels and sheets and clothing.
Yeah, all the bedrooms are upstairs, and if you're changing, you're like making this trip downstairs to the common areas to do laundry. So yeah, I agree. Ooh, nice.
And it looks, you can tell, see?
Yeah.
The kind of that's kind of the condition
It's
a lot.
cool, and it lets light into the hallway too.
It does, yeah.
Nice,
So
little
this
salvage
second
pocket
floor
door.
now has primary suite with closets, a big bathroom, luxurious bedroom, an office, an ensuite with an optional like hallway door to the bathroom too, a smaller ensuite, and a laundry room.
Right.
It's perfect.
It really is.
All right, third floor. Let's see what's up here.
Of the third floor, there is this.
And I'll just point out too, I like the fact on like old houses, you have these quirky areas where it's like the ceiling's coming down. And let me tell you, like on McMansions, they have a lot of these crazy funky ceilings too, but they don't feel the same as these. These feel like usually it's just one gabled end and it's coming down and you can kind of expect it. Like if you guys go back and watch my older videos, when I was trimming out McMansions and stuff like that, we would run crown like through crazy vaults, and it was just like kind of make you sick, you know. Like on these older houses though, it's just a slope ceiling, you know. You can understand it. You can read it. It's not like, why is that like on these McMansions? Why is there so many twists and turns? Well, you have so many different roof lines coming together that reflects on the interior side. So I like to see this vault up here on the 3rd floor reflecting the roof line, but it's just simple. Hey, you see that, well, I guess you couldn't. I was gonna say it would have been cool to line up the nickel gap lines with the tile space, but they're different sizes. So I'm talking about right there at the slope ceiling inside the tile, how those lines don't line up. I think it'd probably look better in person because it almost looks like that nickel gap keeps going, but I can tell that it's tile by the way it's reflecting that light there at the top. Again, you would have to see that in person. I think it makes a lot more sense. But yeah, just a thought that crossed my mind.
Okay, this sweet little room.
I love a dormer bedroom. I think it's so cute.
Agreed.
My granddaughters love this room. With so many boy cousins.
Yeah.
They have their little...
Yeah, attic rooms are cool.
Room.
I don't know, they're cozy.
With these tiny little cafe curtains. The gable and the wallpaper and the antique bed. All of it.
Yeah, it's precious.
The house actually had a pretty massive fire in the 90s.
What I will say here, a Palladian window is a true architectural feature, and I would have, this is fine. I would have liked to have seen this trimmed out like a lot better than the kind of 1x with the back band that you see here. Just because a Palladian window, especially on this house, is like a really prominent detail. You know, you've got this gorgeous Greek Revival house, you know, like this one's in the gable end of the front of the house, I believe. Yeah, it is. And like you really could have displayed some awesome trim work. But again, it's a nickel gap. It's not really that style, but I would have liked to have seen that elevated a little bit more, being that it is a Palladian window. And Palladian comes from Andre Palladio, who was like the forefather of architecture, and people still use him to this day. His techniques, and like we're seeing here, a Palladian window. So yeah, just that's a personal one for me, but this actually works for the space with the nickel gap, with the kind of clean lines. Like yeah, Paula's right there on this white oak beam. For it to communicate to be like a true beam, you know, I mean, it's fine that it's a faux box beam, but I think for it to at least present itself as a true solid beam, I would like to not see that seam right there to the right of the light fixture. And you know, it's made in multiple pieces. I would have liked to have sourced something solid and then had it bandsawed to make it fit. And you could even do it in this clean look. You know, you can get giant white oak timbers. Of course, that's going to be a lot more expensive. It's going to, you know, it's going to throw a wrench in the gear of your schedule. You know, as whereas you can just go down to your lumber yard and get, you know, these 1x8 pieces of white oak and stack them up. But I do think taking that extra time to kind of make it look like it's one solid piece, even though it's a box beam, are worth it. And I will say that little screen molding or scribe molding running around it, I do see people do that a lot. I'm not a big fan of that. I think why they do that is because on those beams, you have to, like, you get one shot really, if it's a true beam, to cut it. And a lot of times what we find is, like, you know, at the corner of your, like, say this is your wall and this is your ceiling, a lot of times walls kick in like that. I guess it's the way the drywallers or plasters mud them in. They kind of like feather it out heavy is my guess, or the framing is just off, whatever it is. You have to kind of cut those tapers on those beams or they're not gonna fit right, and you gotta do it back to back. So what I think I see people do is they cut it just straight, they make it a little short, and then they put it up there and just trim it out. The better way would just be scribe it in there. And again, that takes a lot more time, and but it will look cleaner. So just wanted to point that out there.
Oak. And here's another one of the bench seats for the trunk line. But there's a fun story behind that window. Do you remember? Outside, I was looking at the guys that were tuck pointing, and I saw this beautiful window outside, And I knew I'd never seen it inside.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I came in and there was drywall over it.
What?
And the window was a mess. They probably just were like, we're not fixing that.
Yeah.
But it was
somebody drywalled over a
just
Palladian
such
window.
Classic design elements for this era home. And this is a fun thing too.
Yeah.
That's another storm window, I think from a basement window, but there's a bathroom there.
With no light.
Right.
No
completely
natural light,
interior.
yeah.
But now with that, there's the privacy of it being high, but natural light into the room. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Should we take a look at that
Yeah.
room?
Dining area.
Right.
So just want to pause right here on this
yeah.
image where they've
And
got
then-
this common area on the 3rd floor. You can see that kind of scribe molding going down the beam. Like that would have looked cleaner if we could eliminate that. So just wanted to point that out one more time.
Tying in the oak, with just like this shelf.
Yeah.
In little ways like that, it becomes special.
Okay, so that is 3 whole floors, a million and one decisions, and it's just
I believe it.
really such a beautiful house.
There was so much beauty to begin with. The original architect did such a beautiful job, and it was such a, I don't know, like kind of an amazing experience going through it and bringing it back to life. It felt very redeeming. I felt during the course of the time doing it, so many parallels to life. You go through things that are rough and you become hurt
Yeah.
and damaged, and there can be healing
Yeah.
and restoration. It's a nice metaphor. I've loved living it. Yeah.
Well, let's go walk in the garden
Let's
and
do it.
reminisce. Okay.
All right.
Nice. Well, I'm going to end it there on that high note. Yeah, I mean, I like what she said there at the end, and I've heard other people say this who own like historically significant houses, and even if it's not known to the public that like, hey, this used to be the house of Henry Francis DuPont or something. Like even if it's not known, you kind of know like, man, I have something that's special. Like I have a historically significant house. Like we just finished up with Brent on that Dilbeck house. It's like people know a Dilbeck house. It's almost like a Picasso. Like, oh, you got a Dilbeck, like people care about that. So I've heard these people kind of say like, I don't even feel like an owner. I kind of feel like a steward of it. Like I'm tending to it while I'm here and I want to care for it. And then when I'm gone, the next person I hope can steward it as well. And they just get passed on through generations. So I like that she said that there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this reaction. Jean Stouffer, check her out. I'll leave a link to all of her socials down in the description. Thank you for being such a good sport here, Jean, and letting me react to this stuff. And I truly appreciate it. And hopefully one day we can have you on the Passion for Craft podcast and get to speak in person or via digitally. But anyways, this video has gone on long enough. I'll see you guys on the next one.